At this point, we have cleared out most of the default theme. I'm back in the pages. I have deleted any of the pages other than this sample page start point. We now see that this is our front page. So let's go ahead and edit. And I don't want this to be called sample page. I want this to be known as the home page. And then I deleted that default theme content, and I just have, this is my start point. So by delimiting the amount of information here, that's going to make this upcoming step, this upcoming part a bit easier. All right, so let's go ahead and update, which should publish, and we'll go to Safari, and I'm just going to do a quick refresh, and I should now be seeing home, and this is my start point. All right, so what we need to do now is make home go away, because if you want control of this area, if you want whatever you want for your design and your layout, then we need to get rid of home, and we need to get rid of this is my start point, and this is how you do it. Okay. All right, so I am going to go back to appearance. Let's just make sure, in fact, we are updated. We'll go back to appearance. We will go to customize. Okay. And I'm just basically going into my customization categories here. And if you want, you can change this to tablet or to mobile. For the moment, I'm just going to leave this in the desktop, and then we're going to inspect. So we will right click and inspect. So this should be pretty straightforward if you're using Chrome or Firefox. If you're using Safari, then you need to enable or install the developer tools. So you might have to do a quick search on how to install the developer tools, so you will have inspect available to you if you don't already in Safari, I believe. Okay, so let's go ahead and inspect. And this is going to allow us to select our elements, and we're going to be able to see them in the code. So let's go ahead and select an element. And what we want to do is hover over our elements. And you'll see here that we have header.entry header has text align center header footer group, and that is going to get us at this element here. Okay, and then you also see that we have div header intersection. Okay, so I'm now going to go over to this side, and what we're just going to do is kind of scroll up, and you'll notice that I believe in here you will see header. Okay, so I'm hovering over header right here, and you'll see there's a header up here. Okay, and if we go down a little further and we look at main right here, that we see article, and inside article there is header. Okay, so you can have more than one header in your HTML page. You just cannot have two headers in the same parent element. So we cannot have two headers in main. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here, we're looking at article. All right, and you can see that when we have, where did it go here, article, that this area here, the big area. So I'm going to go back. Sometimes find moving around these things, I kind of move things around here. So we need to find article again. And you see that large chunk. Okay, what we need to do is target the article inside of main, and we're just going to hide it. Okay, and then we're going to do the same for this element here. Okay, our header entry. So I'm going to go ahead and leave my code over here for inspecting, and let's go over and scroll down. Matter of fact, let's hide inspect, because that's going to make us start inspecting the WordPress interface, and I don't want to do that. All right, so I'm going to scroll down and we'll go into our additional CSS. We will close this area and we're just going to write CSS to override these elements, okay? All right, so I'm just going to pause the video because this is a pretty long selector. So I'm going to write out the selector and then we'll talk about it. So I'm just going to pause for a moment. All right, so I have my selector, and remember when we were doing the inspect and we were able to target the article and we got this whole area here to highlight. I believe it was in blue. Okay, so this is the area we need to target. Within that area, inside of main, there's an article inside of article. Okay, so we have main, and the ID for main was site content. So it's main and then # site content. So this is the ID directly in the main element. Then a child or a descendant of main is article. Inside of article is header. Inside of header, there is a div. Inside that div, there is an H1. That H1 directly had the class entry title. So this class is inside this opening H1 element, just like this ID is inside this opening main element. All right, so what we're going to do is first, let's just set the height to 0. Okay. And then we will go ahead and set the visibility to hidden. Okay, now it's starting to go away. And then let's go ahead and make this entire element, the whole thing, collapse. Okay, when I say the whole thing, ultimately the H1 entry title. Okay, so let's go ahead and display. And we're no longer going to allow this to be a block level element. It's going to be, its block will be set to none. So it will completely collapse on itself. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to pause for a moment again. All right, so I just paused because now our word home and this element, okay, our header inside of main, what we need to do now is we're going to target the header specifically, okay, this header. And inside this header directly was the class. Okay, now remember, when I was hovering over elements, when I was inspecting them, we were able to target the article, and then inside of that article, we were able to target the header specifically. And that header now has all of these classes attached to it. So we'll basically just say header dot entry header dot has text align center dot header footer group. Okay, so all of these classes were associated inside the opening header. So that's how we're going to target what was this, or what is this area. Okay, and we are going to do the exact same thing as we did up here. So I'm just going to copy, and we will paste inside. Now you see we still have, this is my start point, okay, but all of this other content has collapsed, allowing the start point of our design to move up and be basically starting right in here underneath our menu. Okay, now at one point we could probably, when we start adding our other content, we can use maybe some negative margin on the top even to get this element to go right up to the top. we'll have to explore this a little bit further. Okay, so I'm going to end this video, and the next video we'll pick up with starting to add our content to our home page, which will start to populate what will be our new header.